Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Good? So let's give it up for Echo, because this is phenomenal. Straight up. You should see the people on social media, you know, because everybody who knows Asadah, this colorful girl, right? I made sure I put on every color for you today. I was bringing all the colors, right? You got it? You like it, right? So, and this little thing. I was like, this thing, right? So everybody on social media, you know, they see me dance, they see me do author, they see me do a lot, but I think they really get the full impact when they see something like this. When I start posting these images, and it's like, this is where I'm going, and I'm gonna speak to these people, it kind of, you can see the responses like, oh, you know, and they're sending it around. So the message is getting out, the movement has begun, and I'm glad that we're a part of it. So glad to be here for you this morning. All right, so I'm Asadah. I'm so glad the hotel had these little pieces of paper because I sure used them. I need them. I'm so happy. So I'm the author of the book Beating Black Kids, and I wrote the book back in 2009. And of course, I get all kinds of stuff when it comes to the book. There are those who say, thank you so much for writing this, because I'm the only person. What's up?
Your hair from the mic.
Oh, watch this.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Look, is that better? Okay, good. So I get a lot of flack, and in addition to, I'm so glad you wrote this book, Beating Black Kids, boy, do I get the flack. From a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And so some people say, like one Russian woman said, why do you say black people? We get beat in Russia too. We get beat in Russia. Why do you? And I was like, I'm black. Like, what you talking about? That's why I wrote it. Like, I will help you write the Russian version, but it's not my job. Like, I don't even know what that's like. So, Beating Black Kids, I wrote it because I'm black and it's on epidemic level with black people. This whole conference is about black people. I'm sitting in the chair like, this whole thing about black people. Like, I'm loving it because it's issues that we face, and it's issues that others may not face, but it's just interesting in a lot of different ways that it is about black people. Because it says a lot, you know, that how I'm not a Christian, but it said, you know, the meek shall inherit the earth. Yeah, kid, that's what that's about. That's that group that they're going through so much adversity right now, but it's all good because work like this is about to provide paths where we can really shine. So let's get to that work today, all right? So anyway, author of Beating Black Kids, great, love it. One of the reasons why, I need my little clicker thing. I'm not used to all this, y'all, little clicker. So one of the reasons that it was important for me to do this workshop was a lot of different things. And sort of the thing that fits what you all are saying, like it's really for us to just shed light on this issue, right? This issue of the fact that, you know, corporal punishment exists. And while my book says Beating Black Kids, we all know that black people aren't the only people that spank people, but spank their children, but it comes from somewhere, right? But we're not going to sit here and act like black people are going to be the poster children for corporal punishment, though. We're not going to sit here and act like, oh, black people beat their children, because it came from somewhere. You understand? And we need to take responsibility, every single person in this room, for that reality, because it wasn't always like that, right? So this was the purpose I had to send in the email, right? Oh yeah, shed light on society's responsibility for and connection to racism-induced parenting. Because see, I made that term up because we all be trying to sound smart here, right? So I did, I just made it up. I was like, oh yeah, racism. So, but what's real about it is that our parenting as a race of people is impacted by racism. Straight up. No other group of people have that. I don't care if they do use corporal punishment. But our parenting, racism has directly impacted the way that we parent. Now I'm gonna show you. Now, I'm gonna deal with this first because this whole conference is called trauma, historical trauma, blah, blah, blah. I said, let me go look this up because we're just throwing it around, but people might not even have a real clear definition of it. And I looked it up and it said an experience that produces psychological injury or pain, right? That's what we've been talking about? From this point forward though, I'm not using it. I'm not gonna use it because I feel like it's a term that helps us band-aid this whole situation. Trauma. Oh, trauma. No, it's heinous, evil, disrespectful, hateful crimes against humanity. Hell no. This is light. Trauma is light. This is what makes us say, I'm going to a conference on trauma. There's so much trauma. But then we go home and friggin' watch some news, or watch whatever. And we're not even connected to what we've been talking about. So I'm not using the word trauma from this point forward in this presentation, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some straight up, I don't even have English words for it. Wish I knew some other languages to give you for it. But if you're Spanish, let me know. If you know, you got some other words for this, okay? So I'm not using it. So let's look at this, because these are traditional black folk images of parenting. You see those images? What do you see? Nurturing, patient, loving, connection. This is traditional now. It's not 2017. This is going back. This is what black parenting looks like. Now I'm saying this, and it's interesting doing this workshop in the morning. I'm so glad the creator put me here to talk to everybody, because this message can be a little different for black folks, and this message can be a little different for white folks, everybody, whatever. For black folks, I need you to look at this and understand that this is us. Because when we go home and work with our children, a lot of times it's like, you annoying. Oh God, you, like Dr. DeGrew was saying yesterday. White mom says, oh, my son is doing so well. Black child's doing better than that child. And she goes, girl, that knucklehead. You know, she's not giving him his props. That's not us. That is something that comes out of an experience that we'll show in a minute. But this is, and for white folks, anybody, whatever, this is us. So even though we're in this conference and we're dealing with trauma, community, when you go home, you still have an image. If you were born in America, you still have an image of black people and black children that may need some work. Because that's how we were raised, to look at black children as less than valuable, as not something that you take care of. And we'll look at where that comes from in a minute. Sorry about that. This is black parenting images today. That lady in the yellow, you see her knocking her son upside the head? Who is that? You know who that is? Who is that? From them uprisings, right? Either Baltimore or Ferguson, one of those uprisings. And so the mom saw her son outside. He wasn't even looting. He was in the front, on the front lines. He really should have been commended. But on social media, she was being coined a good mother. This is a great mom for doing this. No, it's not. You're emasculating him. He's out there trying to fight for the struggle, and you up here knocking him upside the head. What if the Black Panthers mothers did that to them? You wouldn't even have a breakfast program in schools. Give me a break. All right. So much to say, and it took 30 minutes from me, so I'm going like this, like that. While they was talking, I was like, I love you, but y'all taking my time. But I'm going So, yeah, we're going to deconstruct this whole image of the black parent as the bad parent, as, you know, this all of our communities, all this bad stuff. I need for you all to leave with knowing what to do. It's one thing to have all this information, but it could be overwhelming. Yesterday, I was like, Dad, I'm glad I'm not white. Because Joy DeGrew was getting it in yesterday. I was like, oh, damn. I knew that. So when I went to the Statue of Liberty and I asked him about the black Statue of Liberty, the man told me, oh, that's a myth. He said, that's a myth, that's not true. And went on. And I went on with my class, so I went on with that perception. And they had seen the real one because we went to the Studio Museum to see it. But I'm just saying, if you're white in this room, it's almost like you have to deprogram everything you were taught in life, even if you're black. If you're American, you got to deprogram a lot. It's almost to the point where Joy DeGrew standing up here, and you're like, she's lying, where she get that from? I never even heard of that. So this information is a lot. And look, you can't fool, look, don't even fool yourself. You're not leaving here feeling like, wow, that was such truth today. I learned so many new things. You might have went out here like, you could have said a lot of different things. But the point is, you have to work on yourself to really take this information and do something with it. So that's what today is going to be about, right? Now, we're going to do this today. I'm going to do it. It took a little time, so we're going to work on this. But these are the things we're going to deal with. I typed this early, so that word trauma's in here, but after I thought about it, I wanted to cross it off, but it was already here, right? But We're going to look at the origins of this trauma that we think we're talking about, the origins of these heinous acts. We're going to look at what exactly happened, because Joy DeGruy talked about the ma'afa yesterday. Anybody remember what the ma'afa is or was? I see black people now, but I need somebody else. Who remember what the ma'afa is? Like, yeah, it was the suffering, particularly when that middle passage where all of the Africans were on that ship, right? So some of us know some stuff. It's like slavery, but even that stuff is so, like slavery, boats. You know, it's not like hitting here. It's not hitting. So today we're going to hit a little bit. Okay? We're going to look at what evolved from this. How do these past practices permeate society today? And how can we end this vicious cycle? That's what we need to do, leaving here. All right, so how many parents I got in the room? Raise your hand if you're a parent. Excellent, 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 good parents. Even if you're not a parent, I love you. That don't mean nothing. I just want to see how many parents you are, right? 'Cause for this next exercise, this is what I need you to do. I need you to close your eyes. Put everything down, close your eyes. And I need you to just, I'm going to talk. It's a visualization thing. If you have children, I need you to take yourself back to when you just had those children. Not this after the pain. I'm talking about the sweetness. Don't go back to that. That's not what I'm talking about. The sweetness of those children when you took the baby home. And no matter what was happening, you had this new life with you. And if you don't have children, just think of the first time you held a child, the first time you held a baby, and how they smelled. And I want you to look at their fingers, you touch their fingers, and they're looking at you in the mouth, and you just can't believe it. And you have these young ones, and you're holding this baby tight. You feel so good, you can't believe you have this new life. And then you feel somebody tap you on the shoulder, and you turn around, and you look, and they take that baby out your arms. They take them, and they keep walking. You cannot speak. You can't touch them. You can't yell. You just watch them take your child away and keep walking. You might be crying, but you better not yell. You better not say anything, and they're walking away from you with your child, with that baby. Open your eyes, and what happened? What did you see? What did you feel when it happened? What did you feel at first when you had the child? What did you feel when the person came and took the child?
Helpless.
Say it again.
Helpless.
You felt helpless? Okay.
Anger.
Anger? Who said that? Okay, anger. They came and took the child. Yes.
Devastation.
Devastation. I mean, rage. You're standing there with your child. Now, I was nice. I said they tapped you on your shoulder. You got that, right? I didn't want to give you this T word. But I said they tapped you on your shoulder, but then they took your child from you, and they just kept walking. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't take the baby away, and you never saw them again, right? Check this out, y'all. Wasn't no tapping on the shoulder, taking those babies away, right? But beyond that, I need to expose you all to something that really, when I learned it, it was a bit startling's not it. I don't even know what to say about it, but I'm going to show you one of the things that happened when they took these people's babies away. Because we know about how they separated families. Joy DeGruy talked about that yesterday, separating the family. Got that. But something changed between when you saw those statues of those mothers with those babies holding them, and then the second set of pictures with the mothers and fathers beating their children. Something happened in between that time that we need to look at. So we're going to look at a couple of things. One, we talked about yesterday, the dehumanizing of the black child, confusion caused by the slavery experience, and then violence as protection. Because that's what we get a lot of. Violence as protecting the child. What's wrong with you? If you want to keep somebody safe, you do not punch them in their face to keep them safe. They don't feel safe with you. Like, forget what was causing the harm. They don't feel safe with you. And so if you spank your children and you hit your children, or you know people who hit children, the children don't feel safe with you. They don't trust you. Raise your hand if I could come smack you right now out of love. Why are you not raising your hands? I want to smack the crap out of you out of love, because I love you. It's going to hurt you more than it hurts me, but I love you. Love does not feel like that. Love feels good. It feels endearing. It feels like you feel wonderful. You feel, like they said yesterday, something about endorphins, and but that's not what's happening. So something happened, and that's what I want us to look at. Now, tell me what this is. What is that? Alligator? Is that what that is? An alligator with a baby? Made out of what? What does this look like? Somebody made this. It could be like a toy. It could be chocolate. Isn't that nasty if it's chocolate? Damn. Look at this. Little African, a dainty morsel. It's a postcard. Look at this. Somebody made this. A pencil holder, and the pencil is the head of a black child. Here's the image. Here's the tapping shoulder image. So you see the Africans with their children, and you see the slave master coming to get the children. The reason he's coming to get the children is so that he can take them and use them as bait for alligators. They used to feed black babies to alligators so that they could get the alligator skins to make friggin' clothes. You ever seen an alligator eat an animal? Like on a nature channel? You ever seen that? Yo. They came to get your child to feed to a beast. That's what they're doing every day. Coming. You know they're coming tomorrow. They got the babies for today. They're coming again tomorrow to get the next set of babies. Somebody made this. Black child, either coming in or going out of an alligator's mouth. Black children sitting on the marsh next to the alligators. They think this shit is a joke. Black boy says, and they made him look like a monkey, a darkie's prayer. If I gets in this gator's mouth, he'll just be fit for burying. That's why I praise he turns out to be a vegetarian. They think this is a joke. And if they're making postcards and all of this, y'all know this is not slavery, right? Y'all know this is not like when the ships came over. If they're making ceramic figures and postcards, this was fairly recent. Check this out. You want to talk about parenting and racial trauma? You serious? Can you imagine being a parent? What do you do as a parent when you know your child is coming to be taken from you the next day and fed to beasts? It's like a couple of things that you could do. How would you respond? How would you respond? What do you think you would do if your baby was taken from you and you know it was fed to beasts? What would you do?
You would tell them to be quiet and hide, or to get back, but don't cause attention, or to threatened by force. Don't snap the shit out of you.
Right. So he said he would tell his children, hide. Don't be seen. Don't be, I mean, the slave masters know they're there, but still you feel like you got to do something so that they don't come out. Don't be seen. What did you say?
I said stop having children.
You said stop having children.
I would
So here you are, you like, I don't even want to have a baby because I don't want this to occur. What kind of life is that? So another hand, yes.
Some parents would inflict harm on their children or kill them at their own hands.
That's where I'm going with it. How many people saw Beloved with Oprah Winfrey? So that was a book written by Toni Morrison. And in that story, the whole story really is about the fact that here's this young woman who has these children. Down the road comes the slave master. She looks at her children, she looks at the slave master, she runs, gets her children, takes them up, runs into the shed, and slits their throats. I just rather they be dead than to be handled by him. Really, y'all? You want to know what is trauma? I said I ain't gonna use that. You want to know? You want to know where what we're talking about today really started? Black people wasn't rolling like that. You talking about people who had their children, who loved their children, who nurtured their children, and then a situation occurred. Say it again? For hundreds of years. What are y'all talking about? Parenting? You want to talk about a pregnant woman being hung in a tree and then they cut her stomach open in front of everybody so that the baby falls out? Tell me a race that has that story. None, except that black race. So when you talk about, there's two ways I say this usually probably could go. If it was me, I might take my own life. Not really me, because I wouldn't do that. But I'm just saying, if my child was going to be taken from me like that, I think I would go so insane that I would have to take my own life. Like, there's no way I could watch this happen anymore. There's no way I could let them come take me and mine. Like, that's why so many of them jumped off that boat that Joy DeBruce showed yesterday. They jumped off that boat because they were laying in 2 feet of excrement with no food and water. Like, I can't take this anymore. So that's the first option. I'm out of here. Or I'm going to go kill my kids. But for those who chose to stay alive, if there is a black person sitting next to you right now, that is who we are. We're the descendants of those who did not take their own lives. That's this brother yesterday was talking about his family. It's not even far removed. But we're those children. We are the result of that experience. Do you know what it takes to stay alive with that reality and not go insane? That's why you see these situations that look insane. Because guess what happened? Nothing. And from that time to this time, there's never been a pause to heal us. Never a pause, you guys. This is what began to happen next. Black children were dehumanized. If you go look at early cartoons and early caricatures of black children, they are never playing with other kids. They're only playing with animals. They're in barns playing with animals. They're playing with tigers. Look at this child. Look at this child. Bears talking to us. Like never with other human beings. Look at this. This is a book. This is one of those doggone books. You know them old golden books? Somebody reading that to their kids. They named the restaurant after Sambo? They got a chain with the characters. I don't even know all that. What's in the South? Where is that at? I'm in New York. We ain't got no Sambo restaurant. Because you know our shop it'll be right up there. Well, we be like Sambo restaurants. Well, you know, they took them out of Los Angeles? Cheese. So, is one in Santa Barbara right now? I'm going in. With all of y'all. So, it's still there. So, you know, this is a problem. So, when you talk about just the looking at black children, You have your perception of them, whether you think you're in this room or not, as a counselor, as a whatever, we help the community. Yo, this is America. This is the way America has portrayed black children from day one. At the point when we started advertising books, these are books and ceramics, and that means they were a part of popular culture. Not something that was off to the side. That means that the society views black children like that. Guess what? It never stopped. There's been no portrayal of black children being brilliant and wonderful and excellent and outstanding and exemplary. If it's going to exist, we have to create it, but it still doesn't exist. Right? So, here's the deal. There's the parental viewpoint, if I got to take myself out of here, but the main thing that I believe happened is that as a people, we became extremely desensitized to harm being brought to black children. The entire society, the entire world, I feel, has been desensitized to harm being brought to black children. Because they're not worth anything. They just like little animals. You can see white children go tear up cars after a game and jump in there. They're called, just having fun. Boys will be boys. You see black people mad over something and they go turn over cars, then they're savage. And they're, the scum of the earth. Like, it's a very simple portrayal that happens. And people in this room, the challenge for you is to confront yourself. You have to reckon with yourself and your true friggin' feelings about this. Black people, white people, everybody in here. And the reason I keep making race distinction, because every race needs to look at it in that box for a minute, because it does impact each. This is a racist, racial country. It was just born out of racism. It was. Native Americans were sitting here chilling. And they figure, we're going to hook you up. You want some corn? Come on over. We're going to have like a barbecue without the pig. But, you come on and we're going to set you up and everything. I like your hat. Come on. Boom. And the Native Americans, And then homeboy with the hat is like, slip him the smallpox blanket. Oh, we got some blankets for you, kid. Here, some blankets. And they cut, wonderful, this is great. No, it's to kill you. And next thing you know, it's genocide. You on reservations. We heard it all yesterday. You gotta look at this from a racial thing. Don't sit here talking about all lives matter. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a very specific, just look at how to handle this in the context of your own race, because you just have to. Black people have to say, God, do we love ourselves? Like, damn, that's not really our kids. Let me go kiss my son. If you white, it's like, dag, he is smart. But I don't know what y'all say. I'm just making it up. I'm just making it up. But I'm saying, as a white person, though, you do have to go look at whatever that reality is. Because I've had white people tell me straight up, oh, my grandfather's a big racist. Oh, my grandfather, we were raised on black people are dumb, black people are this, or whatever. So if that's the reality, you didn't forget that. You think that's erased? No, it's not. You think you liberal? Great. Go handle that, because you didn't get it out your system yet, believe me. And these people that you are helping, this community that we're helping, you go to help without connecting with the daggone people. Like my girl said, where my girl, where you at? Where my girl? Kim Paul, where you at? Hey girl, like she said yesterday, sometimes they don't want your help. And the main reason they don't want your help is because you're not connecting with them. They don't even feel no sincerity coming from you. So don't come over here with your services. They don't even care about your services. But what they do care is about your sincerity. You understand? If you can sincerely look those young people in the eye, because I'm gonna get to the solutions in a minute, but you gotta be able to look those young people in the eye You know what one of my students used to tell me? I used to teach on the west side. I had opposing gangs in my class. Great, I got you. One boy says, because I was having my individual meetings with them, and one boy said, Miss K, if a person can't look us in the eye, we know they're prey. If they can't look us in the eye, we know they're prey. They know they're going to get you, because you ain't looking at them. So when he told me that, I was like, I know what I got to do. I walk down the street, I'd be like, what's up? What's up? You know, sometimes they be bugging because I can look harder, like I can look longer, and it's a little stare off. Or sometimes I've said, they're looking at me, and I say, you just gonna look at me and you ain't gonna say nothing? And they go, oh, what's up, man? How you doing? Guess what? They're human beings. They're actually not animals. They're actually not 3/5 human, like they showed in, Dr. DeGroote showed yesterday. I do a big event in Chicago where we take over 4 blocks. I bring over 100 black writers. We take over. It's like 1 block is fiction, 1 block is nonfiction, 1 block is children, all black writers. So the city was like, you know you're in the most gang-infested area in Chicago, 61st Street, right? Between King and Koch, whatever. I said, yeah, right, but they blow their nose and they do their laundry too. I don't care about them kids. Those are my babies. Those are my kids.
That's right.
When I see them, when they see me, they're my babies. And as a result, there's no harm done to me. So the challenge today, part of the challenge for everybody in this room, you have to look them in the eye. Just look them in the eye. If you can look them in the eye, they know you're real. If you can't look them in the eye, they don't want to feel you. Believe me. And they're not going to really listen to you. So, I'm going to get to this in a minute, but I'm going to leave it up there so you can drink it a little bit before I get to it. So, it's important to me that today before we leave, you have something you can do. We know that one thing to do is to go debunk yourself. Go debunk your stuff. That's going to take a little minute, and you're going to need some more proof that we are not dumb, stupid, lazy. Even when you see those boys with their pants sagging and all of that, that's just a daggone trend. Whatever. But how you approach these things, the what you're going to leave here with today is you're going to leave here with not just learning how to debunk yourself, but you're going to learn how to go and rehabilitate the human spirit of those young people. Every black person in here used to be a child. So we know we have to, so you have to repair, we have to repair this for ourselves and even our own image and even how we see our own children. And all of those images that we saw, our children are going to have to feel love from us and not disgust and contempt. We have to, and I'm talking to black people for 1 minute, all right? Just remember, I'm talking to black people. Our kids are going to have to feel love and endearment from us. They're going to need that eye contact. They're going to need that head nod. They're going to need that touch. I've touched them kids. They curse on the back of the bus. Oh, I'm going over there. Come here, bro. Let me show them how I do it. Come on. Come here. You. Yeah, stop playing. Give him a hand. He's my next You can stay right here or you want to come up here. Which one do you? You can climb up there. You want to stay right here. Look, I like this. I'm taller. So let's say he's one of the brothers on the back of the bus. And he's cursing and everything. He might even be with his friends. So it's going to take courage for me to go over there now. I'm going over there though. Because my daughter's on the bus. I need them to chill out. So when I go over there, this is how close I get. Now for real, without anything, what did he do when I touched him? He smiled. I did not tell him to smile. But my touch made him smile. I'm telling you. When you go touch them, sometimes that can happen. Other times, pull for me. They pull for me. And this is what I do. Stop pulling for me. Stop pulling for me. And so now their friends be like, yo, what she say, what she say? Here they come. Who that lady? Like, can y'all see that? Y'all saw her touch them? Y'all saw her touch them? Okay, good. And then I pulled him, right? So, but his friends now coming over, what she said, what she said? Now I go, I said, y'all gotta chill out with this cursing. But when I say it, you guys, it's to them and not to the bus. That's where people get it wrong. They want to correct the kids, but they want everybody to hear it. It's not for them. It's for the kids. All right, you can sit down, go ahead, because I want to touch you. Keep touching me. That was my excuse to keep touching me. Okay. So, that going and touching them and that courage to go in, it takes courage. Sometimes I'm too tired. Sometimes I'm not afraid, but I have to think how I'm going to do this. Because if they're under the influence, you have to make a decision. And sometimes I don't do it if I can tell that they've been drinking or drunk, because that's going to skew how they respond to me. But 9 times out of 10, they're cool. But going in, if you're courageous enough and you can just touch their shoulder, they're going to chill out. Because they're going to see the courage in you to even come in their cipher, come in their circle, and say something. And then you say what you have to say. Young man is cursing up a storm. He's so vulgar, you guys. He's saying B, P's. Oh, he's saying all kinds of stuff. I can't take it. My daughter's I go over to him, same closeness. And I said, so if I have a job for you, or if I have a movie deal for you, am I giving it to you right now? No, ma'am, no, ma'am. No, you're not, no, ma'am. Ma'ams turned into all ma'ams. I said, see, you don't know me, but I can have opportunities for you, but you just closed the door with your behavior. Ma'am, I just came from work, ma'am. I just came from work. I said, I could tell you're looking all together. Look at your shoes, look how you look, you know. But it really changed his human spirit. Under all that cursing. You know why he was doing all that cursing, y'all? Because he wanted somebody to talk to him. That's all. He wanted to see what somebody gonna do. And he know nobody gonna do nothing, but he ain't know I was gonna bust. I don't care. I'm from New York. I don't care. So the real deal is young people feeling that you care for them. I did this similar workshop, saying this at another conference, and so this white gentleman came to me at the end. He said, does that mean I can walk over to a black woman and just touch her shoulder? I said, don't be doing that. Don't be telling people I said you would do that. Try your luck, whatever you're talking about. But the point is, as a people, we embrace. You ever see Obama go to a black person? He go like that, boom, boom, shoulder, boom, shoulder. Like it's a coming in. So that's what we do. So that's some of what you're gonna have to do. So now I'm finished talking to just the black people. Hey, everybody. Same thing, just give eye contact and a head nod. Even though it go backwards, see, look. What's up? It's kind of like, what's up? Everybody do that, what's up? Oh! Y'all gonna go in the mirror and practice that later. If you can't do the back one, just go. Look, do the namaste. You know if you do that to a gangbanger, he ain't gonna do nothing to you. He gonna be like, namaste. So y'all rock that a little bit. See how that works. Let me know how that works. It might work. Namaste. They human beings. They got spirits. Mother probably go to church and stuff. All right, so check this out. In this work, and dealing with corporal punishment, dealing with black folks and all of that, you're going to hear people say, I got beat, but I turned out fine. You can be not black and feel like, how many people got spanked that they feel like that, you know, fine, you know, it's more than black people, I know. But this is something that you hear black people say for real, because they don't want you confronting them about no spanking. They try to tell you it's cultural. You don't raise them like, you ain't black. You don't know how we do our children? Well, I'm telling you today it's time to stop that. But usually when people say that they turned out fine, first of all, I say to them, is that what you're aiming for? Fine? That's so average. You aiming for that? Because I know my daughter's excellent and outstanding. She ain't turned out no fine. She is fine. But she's not turning out fine. Excellent. But the bigger thing that I say, and this is an acronym that I made up, is that turning out fine is failing and definitely never emerging. Because this is what that is creating. It's creating a group of people that are not emerging. If we've been enslaved for 400 years, you mean to tell me we ain't got this shit right yet? If I was God, I'd be like, oh God, I done gave you Martin Luther King, I done gave you Garvey. It was taking a long time. But did I do that, Mom? Thank you. Cool, it was that one, thanks. So failing and definitely never emerging. It's time to, this group we've been talking about this weekend, it's time to help them emerge. Not with your services, but with your intentions. It's time for you to be able to step in and take your human spirit and connect with their human spirits and create something. They have to know you care. You understand? They have to feel you. You have to feel yourself. You gotta let it go. You gotta let go of that fear. You know, crack that neck or something, and then go out into the world and try it a bit. Just try it one day in public. Go by that teenager and do your little head nod back, boop, or namaste, whatever you want. All right? So, I said I wanted us to be able to leave with something. Because this is a lot of information, and we do work for these places that have all these services and all of that. Not against it, we do need it. But more than that, I have to help you just see some real basic ways to just let a person feel that you are normal and that you're not afraid. Get rid of the fear, you guys. Y'all know what the fear is an acronym for? Thank you. False evidence, appearing real. That's all it is. Whatever you're fearing about these young people, with their sagging pants up, when they come with those sagging pants, I do the same thing. I walk over and I might say stuff like, your butt is out. But I go close to them, your butt is out. You know that? And they go, oh. Or sometimes they see me and they just do it automatically. Or sometimes I'll say, so if I have a job for you right now, same thing, will I give it to you? No, ma'am. And they just start pulling up their pants. I didn't even say nothing. But they do know it's offensive and know that it's not something that is in light of what I want to put forth for them. And they don't even want to eat it, but it's just a trend. But just talk to them. Just tell them why you don't want to see it. But what they get right now is a lot of scowls. If you responded to me like that too, I'll be mad at you too. I might threaten you too. I might call you a bee too. What you looking at me like that for? But just look at them with some endearment and some care. Now, I wrote something, and I'm going to read it to you, but there's just a few more things I want to say that you can do. These parents, when you see them with their children and the children are acting wild and getting, the key to getting in that situation is to not make the parents wrong. Don't make the parents wrong, okay? What that means is this. When you see them getting ready to yell at the kids and hit the kids or whatever, you get in there and you have to divert the attention of the adult. I do that same touch sometimes. Girl, I know it's hard. Girl, I know, girl, you got this your tribe. I say, this your tribe? Don't try to say it like me, or you can try to say it, but anyway. I can say it all like I'm having all these colors and looking like a fairy and stuff. So, what I do, I talk to the parent. This your crew? Be like 6 of them. Yeah, this is my crew. They just get on my nerves. Girl, I know. I said, I know it can be a lot. I said, I only got 1, you got like 6. By this time, what's happening is that she's no longer yelling at them. And now you're having a conversation as adults. But the thing I have over most of you is that I wrote a book about it, right? So I'll be like, oh, I keep doing that, Dad, fix that for me. So anyway, I usually go, girl, I wrote a book about just this thing. It's us when we get frustrated, it's to help us not be frustrated. And I say, and I give them this card, right? And so they see that beating black kids and they go, oh, I was beat with all this. I was beat with this. I was beat with all this. I was beat with the shoe. So that's usually what they're doing. So they get in all they situated their whole life now. And they get, now it's a counseling session. They go all over. So Then the kid wants to read it. Always the kids want to read it because it looks like it's a children's book. So they go, Mommy, give me, Mommy. And she usually goes, come on, read, you know. And so I go, you want one of your own, baby? Let me give you one of your own. So it's just like this interaction now. Boom, boom, boom. And so what I usually say to them is, if I gave you my book, would you read it? Of course I would read it. And so I sign that book and I give it to them. On the streets of New York, streets of Chicago, no matter where I am, even in the airport coming here, I gave it to 2 mothers who had kids, all them delayed flights and the kids was running around. I was giving out that book. Because they just need it. I can't sit and trip on the fact that I need to pay rent and I need to sell it, but they need it so that the kids don't come up hurt. So I started posting these little episodes on social media and people started following them like, I love your train apps. I love your bus apps. I'm giving you $100 so you can go gift more. So I said, oh, I can gift 10 families now. And it's a thing now to where I give out this book. So you ain't got to do all that unless you want to. But the key is to know what's in it so you can use it. I actually put little keys next to every solution. Ways that they can think, things that they can do. I put keys in the book so that, you know, people can find it. So don't make the parent wrong. You want to identify with those kids, look them in the eye. And I need you to validate these young people. I need you to validate them. Who knows what validate even means? What does it mean? You're a good student. He keeps talking in class. He's going to get a gold star. The rest of y'all need to learn from him. Go ahead, I'm serious. Go ahead. Good. Making them feel important and of value. Yes.
You make them feel heard. You listen and you repeat it back and so they know that you heard them.
I make them feel heard. You listened. Yes. Accepting them for who they are. Ooh, that's so good. Because when you do that, you are going to find some gems up in there. Yes.
Affirming their value and worth.
Affirming their value and worth. See, you all are going to have to shift your paradigm about black children and about black teens. Because most of the images we even saw this weekend, they look sad and upset. They got some problems, yes, but they ain't all sad and upset all the time. My daughter's 13 years old. And so she told me they have a new reading teacher, and that the reading teacher, they're doing this thing now where they talk about their problems and issues. And I say, do they think y'all just got problems and issues? Why y'all not just talking about flowers or whatever? And you know what my daughter said? She said, well, I don't have problems, so I just talk about cheese. She loves cheese. But, okay. But the fly part was to hear my little 13-year-old say, I don't have problems. Yes, auntie. You understand? My 13-year-old don't have, to hear her say that, and I didn't have to coerce her and ask her, you don't have problems. Like, she's just talking to me. And as a being, she feels like she does not have problems in 2017. Damn, that's dope. That's amazing. A young black girl with locks? What? No Miss Clara? What? You know what I'm saying? I mean, she asked for that hairstyle. Why do you think she asked for that hairstyle? She loves herself, but why else? Say, come on, somebody say, me, that's right, me, right? I'll wait for it. Validation, okay. No, seriously though, she did look at her mother. This is the black woman that's raising me. She got these locks. I was so glad when she asked for them. She was like 5, because I was cornrolling every day, like, oh. But then she was like, Mommy, when can I get locks? I was like, I say that because that's a struggle for black women. Yo, we struggle with our own beauty. Why? Because of that crap. Dad, we don't even see our natural hair as something that we should value. Don't let them see my kitchen. We laughing, they don't know about that. We laughing. We just buzzing out laughing. So, what a kitchen is, you don't want me to tell them, I gotta tell them they in the conference. They pay for this information. So if you got natural hair, you might not have a kitchen because it's just like one of the things, it's just a thing, you just sit in. But if you don't have like natural hair, and you might perm it or something, so you have the real deal be coming out, the little knots of hair. That's what we call, why do we call this in the kitchen? Why we do that? But anyway, you know why? You're gonna get a scar. Let me hear what you say. Come here. Oh. He said, cause rain. So we got the hot comb. My grandmother had it, Madison J. Walker, right? So the hot comb, you put it on the stove in the kitchen, you put it in the fire, and then the fire make it hot. If it turned orange, you know it's really hot. So sometimes, and your grandmother gonna put that hot thing on your head. Yo, we laughing, but that's psychotic. Yo, that's psychotic. You heating that comb up till it's orange, and then you're gonna put it on your child's head to hide her natural image. Damn. That's deep. That's deep, yo. That's something we have to handle as a race, because we still not over it. Beyonce hair is not blonde. What? Say word. Who said that? Say word. You said that? Oh, that's my boy over there. Every time a star comes out, she got blonde flowing hair. And if she black with blonde flowing hair, I'll be like, dang. Because she thinks that's what she needs to have to be acceptable by the world. If I was an alien coming down looking at that, I'd be like, yo, what's wrong with those people? They African with long straight hair. But anyway, I digress. The point was my daughter, and the fact that my daughter as a being in this world has a confidence that will guide her path. I am not telling her every day, you be strong now. You go out in the world and show them. I don't do none of that. But I do things like she's 13 now with this wonderful little shape. And I go, oh, you look fierce. You look fabulous. Now look, what she says to me as her mom is, that's weird, stop. So what? I'll be like, so? I'm your mother. And I might even go like that to her hip or something. You know, she goes, stop touching me. But because I am validating her image and her beauty, oh my God, this is what she does in the mirror all day. And not the pictures like the booty pictures, no, she don't do that. But she admires herself. And guess what that's creating? She's not gonna have to look to the world to validate her. That's what we have to create in them, you guys, okay? We have to validate them. My students, if a young boy had a beautiful smile, I'd be like, oh, smile, come over here. Let me see your smile. Miss K, come on, Miss K, come on. And I'd be like, no, seriously. I said, because you know, it's teeth on the crest box. That's somebody's teeth. Those could be your teeth. Oh, dude. You know, you just kind of see a different, so you know you're going to smile every time you see me. Yeah. Right. How you doing, Miss K? Validation. There was a young boy who I had given out an assignment. They had to choose a genre to work on. So it could be horror. They had to write a story. And I noticed this boy was struggling a little bit. So I was like, okay, might be some literacy issues there, right? So I was like, come here. I need you to get the camera for me. Get the camera. I need you to work on the camera thing. So he gets the video camera and he's videotaping the activity and blah, blah. Every time I see him, what's up, video man? What's up, cameraman? What's up, cameraman? So, Miss K? Oh my God, y'all, what did he become when he got older? Damn videographer. That's deep to me. That's like, what do you do with that? But that's really all it is. It's not rocket science, it's not magic. We don't have to, trauma communities, the trauma baggage. Nah, just walk in the community. What are you talking about? They go to the bathroom, they blow their noses, they do their laundry, they eat food, might not be the best food, but we can work on that. But the key is to just go in. Go repair the human spirit. Repair yours first though, so that you can do this work for real and not go with the baggage of whatever your grandfather did and all these other things. You have to really appeal to the human spirit. So, 1, this says them because I was really coming from a framework of helping parents, but everybody in here parents. So I'm not separating you from your clients. Please, believe me, there's no difference. You have a job, they don't have the same job. You help them like you would help your friend. If you help them like you would help your friend, they're gonna feel that. Because you have a sincerity about who they are underneath all the problems. And then you help yank it out. Help them find aspects to admire in their children. Parents, you need to sit and make a list of things you admire in your children first. Especially black parents, I'm talking to you. Because we know, oh boy, they get, sometimes, I had to ask my daughter one day, I said, if you had to repeat something I say all the time, what would it be? And I'm thinking it's gonna be something, fabulous. She was like, you yell too much. And I was like, beating my kids, lady? But it's not that I yell, I don't yell. But she is receiving my communication as yelling, or she was, so I had to check myself on that, right? So look at what you can admire about the young people you serve, or even your own children. What can you admire about them? Are they handsome? Do they write well? Do they dance well? Do they cook good? Do they have good diction? Are they good artists? Are they tall, dark, and handsome? Are they, just whatever it is. Can they do hair well? Can they do math well? Can they video? I mean, it's a plethora of things that you can admire if you sit and talk to them. Because it's all in them, but they most times don't believe that any of those things are real for them. They don't, like that boy that was on the video at Rise, who is doing the music production. Rise helped me get my songs out. I got songs. He has songs in them. And Rise had the studio, and he went in the studio. So you have to find out what they have in them and then help. And then articulate it. Don't just make a list of them. Lovely college graduate people. And so I don't like intellectual stuff. I just like regular. Go apply that list. Go look and see what you can pull out of those young people. Have them recall what was done to them and how it felt. All of you who are in here who might be like, well, I'm old school. I'm from the old school. I believe that little pop, little spanking never hurt nobody. No. When you were young and you were getting it, you were not saying, oh yeah, this is great. This is helping me a lot. Yeah. Oh, this switch feels fabulous. Yeah. This is really making me think. No, you were thinking, I hate you. I can't stand you. Wait till you get older. Why are you doing this to me? You didn't even hear my side. Like, you're saying all these things when you were young about when it was being done to you. That's what you use. You don't go tell people, don't hit your kid, don't. Nobody wants to hear that. Like I said, don't make wrong, but just take them back a little bit. I had a grandmother that was so adamant with me. Yes, babe, yeah. But after that workshop, and we did this exercise where she had to look at her own life, she was crying. They didn't even listen to what I said. She's like 70 something. Still in her. That nobody listened to her. Nobody heard her side. She didn't even do anything. So you have to take people back to what was going on in their life. Nothing, don't be all clinical, please. So what happened? That's this industry. So what happened? Tell me what happened. No, ain't nobody want to talk to you about that. It's a conversation where you talk a little bit about you, they're going to talk a little bit about them. When I was young, my mother didn't spank me a lot, but boy, when she did, she smacked me twice and something. Girl, please, my mother, like, it's a conversation, and then they disclose, and then you look, and you be like, whoa, I know I was feeling crazy. What about you? Oh, girl, I couldn't stand her back then. And it's a conversation, and then you get it out and say, well, I don't want my children feeling like that about me. And it's a conversation, and she goes, you know what? And then you have them think about it based on what happened to them, right? Work with them to develop legacies for their families. This came up yesterday, legacies. Somebody tell me what legacy means. Not the star student. Somebody. What does legacy mean? Somebody.
What's left after you're gone?
Okay, what's left after you're gone? Somebody else? Anybody else? See, this concept of legacy so you saw somebody? Go ahead, you might help. Way back there? A new pattern of living? Wouldn't that be fabulous? Sometimes I wish I was Paris Hilton. I'd be like, she got the hookup. The legacy he left her was a whole bunch of hotels. Come on. Yes.
I feel like it's the vibration that you're sending into the world. Just keep going even after you pass away.
Even after you pass away, your vibration, what did you leave? What did you leave? What are people experiencing, right? This concept propels parents into the future and off of their everyday problems.
Right? So what would you suggest for that? And then I'll sit down and take your response, but then I just had a comment to piggyback on affirming our children. Working with our children, mental health and discipline, there's not a fine line and it gets blurred, so oftentimes we are doing the discipline piece. And I just want to offer my colleagues at large is when you're disciplining, particularly a child of color, or you're speaking to them through a mental health lens, but with the discipline related to the infraction, insist that they look at you because they automatically look down when you're speaking to them and there's any kind of violation for behavior. And I ask them, I says, let me see those beautiful eyes. Yes, we have to talk about this. You made some mistakes, but I need to see those beautiful eyes as we talk back and forth. That changes the dynamic, just that you're asking for that eye contact, because that too goes back to the plantation. Do not look your master in the eye at any given point. You sassing me, and there the lash would ensue. Thank you.
Exactly, no doubt. So, I'm still on. Okay. So I used to teach first grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, high school. I taught on the west side of Chicago, south side of Chicago, Harlem, New York, the whole 9 yards. I got all that. Okay, great. So this altercation, one of the dynamics that I would create with these two beings before parents even get in the picture is I have to bring them in proximity. Instead of this, I'm bringing them all the way up in here. Now, they come in my office, I get 2 chairs, and there's something about bringing them in proximity that it just cools all that out, because it's kind of like don't hold me back, don't hold me back, and ain't nobody even holding you. Don't hold me back, don't hold me back. So I bring them in this proximity, right? So I wasn't there, but I'm gonna just tell you sort of how I handle these 2 beings. Put 2 chairs facing each other, and baby, they gotta be knee to knee, hand gotta be shoulder to shoulder. You can't get no closer than that. So now they're like this on each other, and they're like this. Oh, they can't take it. Oh. But then it's funny, because it's almost like, Miss K. And I'm like, look them in the eye. Look them in the eye. Right now. Repeat after me. I love you, man. Oh, I ain't saying that, Miss K. What are you saying? But it's just that now it's a game. It's this thing. Knees, get the knees touching. That's my thing. Get your knees touching. Get your knees touching. Put your hands on the shoulder. You know, so it's all this thing. And so at the end now, they're just sort of, I know, you know. And it's just, it gets kind of quelled, because instead of pulling them from each other, I brought them into each other, like, now you got really facing type thing. So that's that. So the mother doesn't really get caught. But let's say, okay, you can't do all that, and they really bugging out, you know, whatever. And then the mom comes. I was in a school recently, and that was the situation. 2 boys had the beef. Mom comes. Mom is mad, she yelling at the school, I can't stand in school. Now, that's not even my school, I'm just there because I'm getting ready to do something else. But I said, Mom, let me get it, can I talk to you for a minute? Before she even gets near the office, I have to intercept her and talk to her. I had to talk with your son. My name is Miss So, so I don't even work here. But your son said that he does blah, blah, blah. Like he was an artist or he was something. And I said, and I talked about something. I just diverted her attention from the calamity. And then it was about, here's my number. Let's look at something else we can do. And, yeah, because I'm taking him out of this school. I'm taking him out of this school. But it was a side conversation. It was quick. I got to get in there before she even sees he exists. Before she even gets to the office. When she come up the steps, I was right there. I just happened to be there. So it's kind of like a quick intervention. Take her to the side and get her to see a picture that you want her to see when she comes into the room. That's what I would recommend.